नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, खूप सर्व विद्यार्थ्यांच्या डिमांड नंतर आपण आपली इंडियन पॉलिटीची बॅच इंग्लिशमध्ये सुरू करत आहोत. ही इंग्लिशमधील बॅच मी जवळपास सर्वच्या सर्व लक्ष्मीकांत कव्हर करण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. ही इंग्लिश मीडियममधल्या बॅचची तुम्हाला एक नोट्ससुद्धा मिळेल आणि यासोबतच तुम्हाला या बॅचचे सर्वच्या सर्व व्हिडिओज, आपलं जे ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमीचा लाल कलरचा लोगो असणारा ॲप आहे, या लाल कलरचा लोगो असणाऱ्या ॲपवर तुम्हाला सर्वच्या सर्व बॅच मिळेल. मग या बॅचला ॲक्सेस किती असेल, व्हिडिओज केव्हा अपलोड केले जातील, तुम्ही ते व्हिडिओज किती दिवस पाहू शकता, या सर्व बाबतीतली सर्वच्या सर्व सूचना त्या ॲपवरच त्या ठिकाणी सूचना या सदरामध्ये तुम्हाला दिलेली आहे. तर मी तुम्हाला सर्वांना सुचवेल, ज्या विद्यार्थ्यांना इंग्लिश मीडियममधनं इंडियन पॉलिटीची बॅच हवी होती, तुम्ही ही बॅच नक्की जॉईन करा. तुमच्या मित्रांसोबत सुद्धा शेअर करा. यामध्ये मी तुम्हाला प्रत्येक कन्सेप्ट सांगण्याचा प्रयत्न तर केला आहेच, मात्र या कन्सेप्टच्या सोबतच त्या टॉपिकशी निगडीत जो महत्त्वाचा कंटेंट आहे आणि त्या टॉपिकशी निगडीत जे महत्त्वाचा फॅक्च्युअल डेटा आहे, जो तुमच्या परीक्षेसाठी अत्यंत उपयुक्त असतो, हा सर्वच्या सर्व डेटासुद्धा मी त्या ठिकाणी देण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. सो तुम्हाला सर्वांना विनंती की बॅच शेअर करा आणि जॉईन करा. थँक्यू. हॅलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम यू ऑल टू ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमी. टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी the most important topic of Indian polity. It is our parliament. In last session we have studied three important concepts. One, it was what is government, narrow definition of government and broader definition of government. Then we studied the meaning of separation of power in our common sense. Then we have studied the concept of division of power. Now let's start with the topic on Indian Parliament. We are going to study every minute detail of the Indian Parliament with simplification of the concept. So let's start with this. Before starting, we have seen what is Parliament. Parliament is law-making organ at the central level in India. Parliament is called as a legislative organ in India. Now start it. First, the constitutional provision relating to Indian Parliament or Union Parliament are given in Part 5 of the Indian Constitution from Article 79 to 122. Basically, no need to remember articles. They generally do not ask you question on articles. Some important articles are there which I will be explaining during the lecture. Parliament is legislative organ of union government. The most important function of the parliament is to make laws by keeping in mind constitutional ideals, constitutional principles and constitutional limitations. Parliament is legislative organ of union government. It is composed of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President. Remember, it is given in Constitution. President is an integral part of Indian Parliament. Why? Because law making is the most important function of Indian Parliament. And no bill which is passed by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha will become an act or law unless and until it is signed by President of India. That's why President is an integral part of Indian Parliament. See, many words you might have heard. One word is draft bill. बराबर है. What is meaning of draft bill? In simple term, draft bill is just that raw bill, and when this draft bill is voted by Parliament and when it is voted by Parliament and when it is signed by President of India, then it becomes an act, then it becomes a law, or it becomes a statute. So one new thing came to us. The word statute, act and law are used with same meaning. Clear this thing? I repeat once again. The word statute, act and law, these three words are used with same meaning. They are almost synonymous words. So when this draft bill is voted by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha and when it is signed by President, then it becomes statute or act or law. This is the reason why President is an integral part of the Indian Parliament. This is the reason why President is an integral part of the Indian Parliament. Now a small revision to the points that we have seen while studying parliamentary system. Parliamentary form of government, as we had discussed earlier, when we got independence, we had option to choose presidential form of government or parliamentary form of government. Presidential form of government was prevalent in America. Parliamentary form of government was prevalent in England. But since we had the experience of parliamentary form of government and we were more suited for parliamentary form of government, so we preferred parliamentary form of government. So this parliamentary form of government focuses on interdependence and harmony between legislative and executive organs. Also, we have seen two important points or two important features of parliamentary form of government. Parliamentary form of government is more responsible and less stable. I repeat this line once again. Parliamentary form of government is more responsible and it is less stable as compared to presidential form of government, which is more stable but less responsible. Also, one very important line for Indian parliamentary government. I repeat that line once again, which is very important from examination point of view. Listen it very carefully. Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to Parliament in general and to Lok Sabha in particular. Very important statement. This parliamentary form of government is also called as Westminster model of government. It is also called as Westminster model of government. Why? Because British Parliament is located at this place, which is Westminster. It is also called as cabinet government. Why? Also we have seen this reason, because normally Article 74 says that there shall be a Council of Ministers to aid and advise President of India. But it is not possible to carry these 70 plus ministers to aid and advise President of India. So this aid and advice is given by cabinet. Cabinet ministers have more influence, more dominance and more say in parliamentary form of government. That's why it is called as cabinet government. And also we have seen, above all, the cabinet, Prime Minister is the most important influence in this entire system. So parliamentary form of government is also called as prime ministerial government. So these three lines are important. It means parliamentary form of government is also known by three separate names: Westminster model of government, cabinet government, or prime ministerial government. Also we have seen one important line, which was primus inter pares. The line is about prime minister. It means prime minister is first among equals, primus inter pares. American president is not an integral part of the Congress. Clear this thing. American president is not an integral part of the Congress, unlike India, where President of India is an integral part of Indian legislature, Indian Parliament. These are the functions of Parliament. We are going to study the functions of the Parliament in detail. I will just list out these functions. To represent electorate, it means those people who voted for them, right? To represent electorate. That's why in India we do not have direct democracy. In India we have indirect democracy. Also I will use another word. In India we have representative democracy. This word is important. In India we have representative democracy. To legislate, it means to make laws. To hold the government accountable for its action through various parliamentary procedures and motions, that we are going to study in detail. To monitor expenditure of public funds. A very important line is used many a time in prelims examination. Remember, Parliament is guardian of public purse. This word is important. Parliament is guardian of public purse. Public purse means public money. It means no money can be spent without the permission of Indian Parliament. It is given in Article 114 of Indian Constitution. The Article 114 of the Indian Constitution is what? It is, in simple term, about appropriation bill. We are going to study appropriation bill in detail. Appropriation bill legalizes expenditure side of the government. Very important point. I repeat once again. Appropriation bill legalizes expenditure side of the government. To be a forum for the debate. To be a forum for expression of grievances from all over India. To call for any information from the executive and to form the government. So these are important functions of Indian Parliament, and we are going to study all these functions in detail one by one in small chapters, which will give you a very interesting idea about how Indian Parliament works. Right? Now, At the end of the chapter, I will make a very photographic representation of very important photographs of Indian Parliament that will give you a clear-cut idea about who sits where, what are various political parties, why they are called as rightist, why they are called as leftist. We have very interesting topic. We'll go for those topics later on. Now let's start with the Rajya Sabha. Before moving forward about Rajya Sabha, I want to make one thing very, very clear. So what that one thing is there? Now see, a simple thing is there. We have Parliament. Parliament is legislative organ of India. This Parliament is composed of two houses. One is Lok Sabha, second is Rajya Sabha. Actually, we have seen this point already in parliamentary system, but a small quick revision. Parliament is legislative organ. Parliament is composed of two houses. Lok Sabha, second is Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha is called as lower house. Rajya Sabha is called as upper house. So these are the simplest differences. Lok Sabha is called as lower house. Rajya Sabha is called as upper house. Now we'll try to understand these two houses in simple term and various words used for these houses. Let's start with Rajya Sabha. Now first important thing, the composition, constitution and organization of Rajya Sabha is given in Article 80 of the Indian Constitution. The composition, constitution and organization of the Rajya Sabha is given in Article 80 of the Indian Constitution. Now here, Rajya Sabha is upper house of the Parliament. Rajya Sabha is upper house of the Parliament. It is also called as Council of States in the English. Like Rajya Sabha, in USA, there is a Senate. Senate is the upper house in USA. And same, in England, there is a House of Lords. So these three words are very, very important. What is in India, like Council of States or Rajya Sabha, same, there is Senate in America or there is House of Lords in England. Now what is the composition of Rajya Sabha as given in the Constitution? There shall be 238 members. There shall be 238 members elected from various states and union territories. 12 members which are nominated by President of India. So Constitution says there should be 250 members in the Rajya Sabha. There should be 250 members in Rajya Sabha. Now here one thing from examination point of view. Rajya Sabha has elected members as well as nominated members. Very interesting point. UPSC could straight away or MPSC could straight away give you a point that whether Rajya Sabha has nominated members or not. So you remember, Rajya Sabha has nominated members as well as Rajya Sabha has elected members. 238 members elected by various states and union territories and 12 members nominated by President. Then what is current strength of Rajya Sabha? 245 members are there who are elected by states and union territories. Out of those 245, 229 are from the states and 4 are from union territories. Here I have not added or I have not made any changes regarding Jammu and Kashmir because I personally feel that within few days or within few months the status quo will be maintained and Jammu Kashmir might be given the status of states. That's why I have kept the original thing as it is. So remember, 245 strength is there, out of which 229 are from various states and 4 are from union territories. It means union territories have representation in Rajya Sabha. Currently, Delhi has 3 seats in Rajya Sabha and Puducherry has 1 seat in Rajya Sabha. Jammu Kashmir also has seats in Rajya Sabha, but I am feeling, I don't know whether it is changed. If it doesn't change, keep track of current event and put the members of Jammu and Kashmir and add on and you will get the correct strength of Rajya Sabha union territories. But right now, for the status quo sake, let us imagine or let us say Delhi has 3 seats in Rajya Sabha and Puducherry has 1 seat in Rajya Sabha. Delhi and Puducherry have legislative assemblies. So these are union territories having legislative assemblies. So here are 2 important things. Rajya Sabha has elected members as well as nominated members. Rajya Sabha has members from various states as well as union territories. 2 union territories have representation in Rajya Sabha. One is Delhi and second is Puducherry. Then there are 12 nominated members which are nominated by the President of India. These members are nominated in the areas of arts, literature, science, social service. So it is compulsion on President of India to nominate only those members which are in the areas of art, literature, science and social service. Now a question might come to your mind. Sir, are these members nominated by President on his or her own, or these members are recommended by Prime Minister and Council of Ministers? What do you feel? What is your opinion? Now listen very carefully. These 12 members which are nominated by President of India are not nominated by President of India by his own discretion. President do not have discretion to choose these 12 members for nomination in the Rajya Sabha. These 12 nominated members are chosen by Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, and it is binding upon the President of India to nominate only the chosen members which are chosen by Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. Clear this thing, this is very clear, keep it in mind. The members which are nominated by, the members which are chosen by Prime Minister and Council of Ministers are only nominated by President of India. He or she do not have discretion to choose the members. Then fourth schedule that we have seen. What is fourth schedule? It is allocation of seats in Rajya Sabha to various states. Allocation of seats in Rajya Sabha to various states and union territories. It is given, as we have seen, seats have been allocated to various states and union territories in Rajya Sabha based on population. Population is the criteria. Clear, population is the criteria for nominating, for getting seats, allocation of seats to various states and union territories. So this is the simplest thing that we have came to know. Now let's see how these members of these states are represented in the Rajya Sabha. So the members of various states in Rajya Sabha are elected by MLAs of these states. MLAs of the states, where a state has a legislature. This legislature of state is composed of two houses: State Legislative Assembly, State Legislative Council. Now members of State Legislative Assembly will elect the members to send them in Rajya Sabha. These are not members of Legislative Assembly, they are different members, but they are elected by members of Legislative Assembly and not members of Legislative Council. It means in Rajya Sabha elections, State Legislative Council members do not have right to vote. I repeat once again, in Rajya Sabha elections, the State Legislative Council members do not have right to vote. Clear this thing? Now one thing is very, very clear. Members of various states into Rajya Sabha are elected by MLAs of these states who are from State Legislative Assembly. First thing. Now, what process is being followed? Proportional representation is being followed. Single transferable vote system is being followed. I will be taking a completely separate lecture on single transferable vote system, STV. But here I will explain you what is proportional representation. See, the meaning of proportional representation. Members are sent to Rajya Sabha by various political parties, or members of various political parties are elected to Rajya Sabha based on their strength in State Legislative Assembly. In proportion to their strength in State Legislative Assembly is a proportional representation. Now see, for example, let us imagine, let us think about Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has total 10 seats in Rajya Sabha. It is just an example. Let us think about Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has total 10 seats in Rajya Sabha. Right. Now let's think about Tamil Nadu State Legislative Assembly. Right. These are the state seats in Rajya Sabha and Tamil Nadu State Legislative Assembly. Let's think about this thing. Now in Tamil Nadu State Legislative Assembly, let us say DMK, Tamil Nadu State Legislative Assembly, let us say has total 200 seats in Assembly. They have 200 seats, and see, these two different things are there. Rajya Sabha is in the center, state legislative assembly is in state. Now in this state legislative assembly, DMK has out of 200, let us say 100 seats are there. Then AIDMK let us say has 50 seats, and Indian National Congress let us say has 50 seats. So this is the division. Or for simplification, let us say AIDMK has let us say 60 seats are there, and Indian National Congress has 40 seats. Right. Now Tamil Nadu, in Tamil Nadu State Legislative Assembly, DMK has how many seats out of 200? 50% seats are there. So if they have 50% seats, out of 10 seats, 50% seats will go to DMK. It means DMK will get how many? DMK will get 5 seats out of 10. AIDMK has how many seats? It has 30% seats. 30%. So out of these 10, 30% seats, how many? They are 3. So this AIDMK will get 3 seats. And Indian National Congress has how many seats? It has 20% seats in State Assembly of Tamil Nadu. So out of this 10, 20% will get Indian National Congress, so it will get 2 seats. So various political parties are represented in Rajya Sabha in proportion to their strength in State Legislative Assembly. Why? Because the members of State Legislative Assembly are going to vote in Rajya Sabha elections. Clear this point? This is very crystal clear point. So keep it in mind. Various political parties will be represented in Rajya Sabha based on their proportional strength in the State Legislative Assembly. This concept is called as proportional representation. So what we have studied? We have studied proportional representation. I will be taking separate big lecture on single transferable vote system. Allocation to various states is given in 4th schedule of the Indian Constitution, and it is based on population of these states. And this is the reason why in India there is unequal representation. For example, Uttar Pradesh has 31 members in Rajya Sabha and Tripura has just only 1 member in Rajya Sabha, which is not the case in America. In America, 50 states are there, and every state, irrespective of population, got 2 seats each in Senate. So out of total 100 seats, every state got 2 seats in Senate. Equal representation to all states. Then what is the nature of election? Here remember, constitutionally, Rajya Sabha elections are by open ballot. Constitutionally, Rajya Sabha elections are by open ballot. Very important word is there. Here I will be explaining you another important concept which is called as a floor crossing. Floor crossing. Now see, what is meaning of open ballot? When election is going on for Rajya Sabha members, so the election to the Rajya Sabha member is taken on paper ballot. मत पत्रिका पे लिया जाता है. Now every MLA of that state, when he is going to cast his vote, he has to put that stamp on his choice, or he has to give the number to his choice, and he has to show that choice to the representative political party. That's why it is open ballot system, where you have to show your vote to the representative political party which is standing over there. That's why it is called as open ballot system. Every political party gives instruction to his party members in state assembly to vote to a particular candidate. Right? To vote to a particular candidate. But what happens when a member of political party who is member in that state assembly, he votes in contrary, or he votes in opposition to his own political party? It is called as floor crossing. Very simple concept is there. Whenever a member of state legislative assembly belonging to a political party votes against his own political party, or votes against or votes contrary to the instructions given by his own political party, it is called as floor crossing. It is called as floor crossing. Very important concept. The most important line, anti-defection law is not applicable in Rajya Sabha elections. Very important thing, I repeat once again, anti-defection law is not applicable in Rajya Sabha elections. Then about representation of union territories, how union territories are represented. So first thing, union territories are represented through indirect election. Union territories are represented through indirect election. For this, a specially constituted electoral college is being made, and this electoral college vote in the Rajya Sabha elections. It is also based on proportional representation, single transferable vote system, and open ballot. Single transferable vote system, only Delhi and Puducherry has the right to vote in the elections. Other union territories population is very small, so they do not get any representation in the Rajya Sabha, and it is again by open ballot, where the voter has to show his choices to the authoritative representative sent by political party after the casting of the vote. Then about nominated members of the Rajya Sabha. Here remember, total 12 members are nominated by President of India. These 12 members are nominated based on the recommendation made by Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. They are nominated by President based on art, literature, science and social service. These nominated members should be from the areas of art, literature, science and social service. American Senate do not have nominated members. Remember the difference. American Senate do not have nominated members. So this was the composition of Rajya Sabha. We are going to take all these topic in a very simple manner, in a small manner, so that you will get a clear idea about all these things and there won't be any khichdi in your mind. So we'll meet tomorrow. Till then, thank you very much. Have a good day. Tata, bye bye.